So I'll be bringing a guitar player with me. And it's pretty low key. It's pretty intimate. You just get a house full of people and you play for about an hour and meet and greet type thing. Maybe have some merchandise, whatever. But in October, we plan on doing haunted house runs with our. Since I'm a horror person, we're gonna do the show, then maybe go to the haunted house or something. Do something cool and scary. But as far as the rest of it goes, like the show will be more of a stripped down version of the album band. Because on the album we've got mandolin and banjo and dobro. We have all these instruments that like it's going to be financially almost impossible to finance that kind of a road show starting off. And even if I got picked up by a small label at first, like an indie label, I don't think the money would be in that to have that huge combo on stage. So I think everything will be stripped down for financial reasons. But I don't think the show will suffer. It'll make it different to what you want. No one wants to go to a show that's just like to listen to a CD. So, why would you go to the show when you just play the CD at your home and save money and all that crap? So, yeah. I'm not sure if I answered that, but
no, yeah, no, that was good. I think people need to know kind of like what to expect. Like once this is done, and the people who are reviewing the documentary are like, oh, okay, well, what's next? Where do I see what's next for him? And if they're doing a house show near the people reviewing this, maybe they'll find that and they'll go and do that. All right, so let's step back since I think we skipped way ahead. We talked about finding Ken, finding Kent, and what that looks like. Let's start talking about when you first stepped in the studio to professionally do work with them. Like, what were some of the things that you maybe had in the back of your mind that you were expecting, and like maybe some of the things that you were worried about going in for the first time to a studio environment like that? This may not have been the first time that you've been into a studio, but for the first project of this caliber for yourself, what were some of the reservations? What were some of the expectations that you had going into the studio and like working with Kent?
So after we met with Kent and we realized that we're both on the same page, want to do this project, we started discussing material that needs to go on the album, and some of the stuff from my Save Myself album is crossing over to this, which is cool because the way country music is right now, it could very much work as crossover success. But there's always that fear going into a project where like you're gonna get looked at as the underdog who doesn't, or just the nobody or whatever who doesn't know what they're doing or talking about, and someone's just gonna take your project and completely like turn into something you did not want. But after being out in LA and going through all that stuff, and it's almost like LA prepared me for this as far as a like finding myself type thing. So I walked into this project with a greater understanding of who I was as a person and as an artist and musician, knowing what I wanted, what I was not going to sacrifice, what I knew I needed to give a little on to make it work, stuff like that. But the project has evolved dramatically from the start. It started off as a total like, I'm doing 90s country because that's where my heart is, and there's still people that love it, and da-da-da-da-da. And I stuck to those guns for several months after I, signed papers with Kent. He was on board with it, but then I got taken to church, as I like to call it, a few times by my team, and they were, take you and shake you basically. They're like, look, you want to do that, that's great, but you're not gonna be able to compete on radio. You're not gonna be getting the award that you want to get, because I want to get like New Artist of the Year. I would love a Grammy, but it's like if you do this, that's fine, that's cute, but you're not gonna be able to compete with the big guys. And so Of course, that makes you step back and think, like, whoa, you know. And so after you do that, I came back with even more determination to make the album. I still wanted to give it just enough edge to compete, but just enough for me to say, this is me. You're not changing who I am or what I believe. That you're gonna get, you know, this kind of music. You know, it's almost like, I almost feel like we're kind of maybe tricking the audience, if you want to say, because some of the music today you listen to is just like, let's have a hip hop track and throw a fiddle and banjo in there, and boom, you get a country song. But even though that resonates with today's audience, there's a lot of these songs are missing a story, you know. And so we have a song called American Dream, which very much has a hip hop drum loop in the background, but I mean, it tells a story just like my 90s country does, that I love, you know. And so it's kind of like I get the best of both worlds, you know. And it's like the new fans who who want that little hip hop edge or whatever, they're going to get that. And then the older fans are like, you know, this guy's got a great story. I can relate to this, you know. So we found that perfect balance, if you want to say, to make both things work.